Hey everybody, this is Brother Kev. Today I wanted to share with you why I chose to walk away from the left. Now, before I begin, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am a single parent. I have an adult son who's all grown up. I raised him on my own ever since he was about 8 months old. I served honorably in the United States Navy. I spent many years working with computers. I worked in IT departments, developed software. I also spent many years running a homeless shelter. And I ran another shelter for victims of domestic violence. I spent many years in the ministry. I even pastored a non-denominational church for about 4 years. Now today, I run a food ministry, and every week for the past 5 years, we go out and we deliver meals to the homeless and to the elderly. Now, I was never really interested in politics until the 2008 presidential campaign of Barack Obama. And back then, I was so politically ignorant, the only thing I could tell you about the two political parties is what I heard on the TV. And that was Democrats are the good guys because they care about black people and the poor, and Republicans were the bad guys because they were the party for the rich, they were the party for white people, and they were the party for racists. It wasn't until I decided to do my own research to learn more about the two political parties that I finally began to realize that nothing I had been told about Democrats or Republicans even remotely resembled the truth. See, I found out that it was the Democrat Party that defended slavery. The KKK was the domestic terrorist arm of the Democrat Party. It was Democrats who instituted Jim Crow laws and segregation. And for over 100 years, it was the Democrat Party that fought against the civil rights for black people. As a matter of fact, if it had not been for the Republican Party, there would be no civil rights for black people in America today. So I asked myself the question, how is it that we as black people today continue to vote for and support a political party that has committed so many horrible atrocities against black people in the past? Well, I found out that one of the reasons why has to do with what they call the big switch. Now, this is where many on the left today claim that all the old racist Southern Democrats of the past moved over to the right and became Republicans. They talk about Dixiecrats and Nixon's Southern strategy to make their case. But many reputable voices have already come forward and provided undeniable evidence that the big switch is actually a big myth. It never happened. See, Democrats came up with all of these poverty programs, and that's when blacks began to move over to the Democrat side. So you see, the truth is, black people began to move over to the Democrat Party for economic reasons, not because the Republicans all of a sudden became a bunch of racists. And I want to expound on this a little bit more because there's actually biblical evidence to prove the parties never switched sides. Jesus said you could recognize a tree by its fruit. All you have to do is look at the behaviors and actions of the radical left today, and you'll soon begin to realize that these behaviors and actions are no different from the Democrat Party that gave us slavery and segregation. Why? That's because the same lawlessness and censorship that you see from the radical left today grows from the very same tree that gave us the KKK and Jim Crow laws. But these big government poverty programs have done more harm to the black community than good. You see, for the past 40 to 50 years, these failed leftist policies have decimated the black community. They've destroyed black families. They've replaced the black father with a big government sugar daddy. And they've delivered nothing but death to generations of unborn black babies through abortion. These failed leftist programs have created an environment in the urban community that is conducive to indiscriminate violence, failure, and hopelessness. They have trapped us in this endless cycle of death, destruction, and dependency on government. And there is a serious lack of leadership in the Democrat Party. We are facing what I call a trifecta of trouble in many of these Democrat-run cities. We are missing leadership at the three most important levels in order for any community to strive and thrive. We're missing leadership at the local level. We're missing leadership at the spiritual level. And we're missing leadership at the political level. We are missing fathers in the home. We are missing leaders in the church. Not all of them, but in most of these churches, all you have are these poverty pimping preachers and these race baiting reverends who are more interested in promoting the government than they are with preaching the gospel. And then we have these socialist Democrat leaders that we keep electing over and over again, and all they are doing is making themselves more wealthy and more powerful while doing nothing to improve the lives of people in the black community. And last but not least, the Democrat Party ideology is anti-God. You know, the Democrats have become so radical with their views on abortion, they now celebrate legislation that would allow a doctor to murder a baby born alive even after that child has survived an abortion. Their identity politics divides the body of Christ and the church by race, which is completely unbiblical. And these social gospel preachers are actively seeking to replace true Christianity with a false gospel that places more emphasis on social justice than the salvation offered by Jesus Christ. I walked away from the Democrat Party because Democrats are the party of slavery. They are the party of the Klan. They are the party of Jim Crow, and they are the party of segregation. I walked away from the Democrat Party because the two political parties never switch sides. These same radical leftists that you see on the left today are no different than the demonic Democrats of the past. I walked away from the Democrat Party because these failed leftist policies do nothing to lift people out of poverty. All they do is keep us marching in circles around Mount Sinai. I left the Democrat Party because these socialist Democrat leaders have nothing to offer me except victimhood. I left the Democrat Party because as a Christian, there's no way in the world I could vote for or support such an anti-God agenda. I walked away from the Democrat Party, and if you're a Democrat, you should walk away too.